Roy Smith is our corn and soybean market analyst this week. U.S. farmers are approaching the back end of the 2016 corn planting season. Growers have put 86% of this year's crop in the ground, with 60% emerged. Producers are 56% complete planting soybeans, with 22% above ground. Nebraska is still behind schedule in planting by 3 points in corn and 13 points in beans. The first condition rating of this spring's corn will come in the USDA's next crop progress report on Monday. We talked with Roy Wednesday afternoon about his drop-dead date for holding grain and how current trends match historical charts, but we started again by asking for a planting update in his area of the state.
Most parts of southeast Nebraska, I think, are probably done with the planting. Few maybe around here, Cass County, Sarpy County, Otoe County, but most of them got finished up over the last weekend.
How surprised are you with what's happening in the soybean market right now?
Well, I'm pleasantly surprised, I guess I'd say. We've got some bullishness in the market, and the market has had a real nice run, and usually when you get the traders all bulled up and everybody's all excited about what the potential might be, the bottom falls out. Well, it didn't do that this time, and for that we're thankful, of course. And but boy, it's great when you have a day like what we're talking about, filming on Wednesday, and seeing beans over 20 cents higher.
Yeah, and the question then is, soy, Roy, when does it end?
You're asking for a prediction there, and I'm not very good at predictions, but I guess I'm not a big believer in selling based on cost of production, but I think after the market's gone up $2 a bushel in a short period of time, you need to calculate what your anticipated cost of production is going to be and sell something based on that, because here is an example of when I think it will probably work very well.
Let me ask you this then, how atypical is this movement compared to your historical charts?
The historical charts, it's actually tracking pretty well, except that we've gotten more of a rally than what we usually get. Usually if you get 40 or 50 cents a bushel rally off the winter's low, that's pretty good. Well, here we are at more than $2 a bushel over the previous low, and it seems to be still going up, so, and that's why I kind of caution people, if you're going to forward contract beans for this fall, let's say, or corn for this fall, be sure it's at a price that you can live with, because who knows, I hesitate to say I think we could go to $11 or $12, but that target is out there, and it could happen. I'm not predicting it, but it could happen.
What does that tell you about whether or not there's been a switch from corn to soybean acres?
My perception is that any fear of the market switching from soybeans to, from corn to soybeans, it's not happening, because if it was happening, you would see one go up and the other one go down, and that's not what's happened in this particular case. We've seen soybeans go up, even though the rationality would say they should go down as people switch to more beans.
So compare what's happening in the soybean market now with what's happening in the corn market.
Well, corn has gone up some also, but it hasn't gone nearly as much as soybeans, and that's got a lot of people, including me, scratching their head as to why are soybeans so much better than corn. And the only answer I can come up with is that that's what the Chinese want, and that's what they're buying, and they have to go through a currency exchange, of course, so it's very difficult for a farmer here in Cass County, Nebraska, to evaluate exactly how much that's happening.
How does your selling strategy differ in corn as opposed to soybeans for that new crop?
The corn market just hasn't tracked nearly as well, but it's kind of the old paradigm that I've used for years. If you're selling soybeans, sell some corn too, because chances are eventually they're going to track together. And even though there may not be a sell signal on corn, it could still take place this year, just like it has other years.
Is the drop dead date looming?
drop dead date 1st of July to the 4th of July or the 10th of July, somewhere in that time period. I still believe it. If beans go up another $1 or $2 a bushel, it's going to be really hard to sell into that, but it needs to be done, especially if you can look out there and see the soybeans all nice and green and the corn tasseling around the 4th of July.